Well, welcome everybody. It's going to be another magical day. This is Dr. Hank, and with my happiness and success coaching, and we have a special guest with us today that's going to really be fun. In fact, we might even talk about sex a little today and climaxes, and in a way that maybe you didn't realize what it would be. But I have really a rock star, Kendall Williams. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, and she's authored co-authored nine different books. She's been featured on Lifetime. She sometimes can be a little raw, and she's proud of that. And she's really just authentic and passionate in her style of teaching and coaching. And she is a relationship educator. She's also a real life sex educator and an abundance coach and a mother of seven. So, how you juggle all of that, I don't know, but it is just amazing. And, I saw a quote from you that I really just liked. It says, God and sex can coexist and do. And your true orgasm is not in the bedroom, it's in every moment, every breath. I love that. And every heartbeat. So, can you tell us a little about that?
It's really, everybody thinks that when they hear sex and relationship coach, instantly they go to turn on, they go to the bedroom, they go to sex positions and, dysfunctions and how do I get more of that?
Yeah.
And I'm not that kind of sex coach. I'm the sex coach that is more of an abundance mindset coach, law of attraction based.
Yeah.
And you just understanding, and that's what that quote is about, is that our orgasm, we should be living an orgasmic life, which is living an abundant life, living a life that is turned on. Mm-hmm. Life's not supposed to be about just paying our bills and surviving the day. It's supposed to be about really thriving. And what is thriving? That's that orgasmic energy, that life force energy that's moving through us. And that's when we start to manifest everything that brings us joy into life. So that's what that quote means, is like, how do you find your joy in this moment?
Yeah.
There's a reason for every single moment of our life. We tend to get hung up on blaming and pointing fingers, we create our own suffering when we don't really need to.
Right. Well, boy, that's for sure. I like that. And we create our own suffering. And by the way, I'm taking notes here, and I would recommend all of you do the same because Kendall knows just has a really unique perspective on all of this. And I also loved you talking about an abundant life. And for most people know I'm an ordained minister as well, and so Christ said, "I give you life, and I give it to you more abundantly." And most people are like, "Okay, I got life, but where's that abundance?" And so how do we go about getting this and this joy in every moment, which I love too? That what are the steps, or what's the way to get there?
So you said Christ said that I give you life in abundance.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, "Oh, I have life." Mm-hmm. And I would pose the question of, is that true? Mm-hmm. Because you may have blood flowing through your veins and air in your lungs and your heart may be beating, but are you truly living? And to truly live is not just always having, as I'm the person who says, it's not always organic chocolate and roses and, glitter farts from unicorns. Like, that's just not what our life is built on. The joy comes in being able to find the joy even in the darkest of times. Can you find the reason? Can you find the love? Can you find the goodness that is coming from that? So it's how we perceive those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Can you sit at your child's soccer game and be present when they kick the ball and when their teammates are kicking the ball and find the joy in that moment? Or are you sitting and staring at your phone, surfing through Facebook? I mean, like, yeah, there's people doing that right now, right? They're watching us. But thank you, people, not being present to the soccer game. But at the same time, it's like, where does the joy come from? How do we find it? Well, we get really, number one, present in our day-to-day. Life does not happen tomorrow or yesterday. Life is happening right now, in the here and now. You know, Eckhart Tolle, he became famous for his work on the power of now. And the power of now is just that. It's being present in the moment. You go back to Buddhist teachings, you go back to Jesus, whatever path we so choose to take.
Yeah.
We do come back to the very simplistic and oh so hard thing of being present. Because with presence, we get scared in the presence because we don't know what to do with it. How am I supposed to be so present? Like if I'm present right now, then how am I planning for the future? And I should be worried about what happened yesterday and what that person said and what that person did and this and that. But if you really think about it, all those things of worrying about what happened yesterday or last year, or sitting around and contemplating and fearing for, what that future looks like, we're not living in the here and the now. So we're never going to find joy. We're never going to find happiness. We're never going to really feel love, feel orgasm. If we get into the physicalities of orgasm, the people who say, I'm just non-orgasmic, well, a non-orgasmic person is a non-present person. So we can't be orgasmic in the physical body if we're not present in the body. So we have to come back to the body. Yeah. And to find joy in our life, in any facet of life, means that we have to come back to the body of life, maybe the body of Christ. Like, what is the body, right? Like coming back to that, like body work into the work is done in here. The work is done in our emotional centers. It is done in the presence of our thought, our emotion, and our physical being, all in the same place at the same time. Being present in them.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So I heard there that to get present. And so you're right. We have been kind of taught, like if you're watching news, they're talking about the past, right? Or if you're thinking about your past, again, you can only be in one place at one time. And so the past is one that many of us get caught up in, if you will. And then this idea about fearing the future or thinking you have to plan the future. And, so many people teach, you got to have goals and everything. And really, I go back to Christ's statement is the Father does the work. And so you really don't have to do it. You just need to ask it. And being in this present moment is the way to ask. So how do I get into that present moment, Kendall?
Well, my number one, recognizing when you're in the past or the future. That's for sure. Anytime we, especially right now in our world with everything that is going on, there is a lot of upheaval, a lot of questioning, a lot of nervousness in all countries in our entire world. As a world community, we are nervous and anxious about where our future is. And we look back over the course of 2020, which everybody was just like, oh, thank God that's over, right? And here we are in 2021, and well, it's still going, right? Here it is. We're still here. It's kind of like no matter where you go, there you are, right? So, and here we are. Just because the turn of the year happened doesn't mean that everything else isn't still with us. Part of the reason why it's still with us, though, is that we have not unanchored it from our energetic systems. So when we focus back on, the events of 2020, the worry, the this, the that, or just of last week, or just of yesterday, and we bring our attention to that, we are bringing with it, we are emotionalizing that experience over again. So if we have a trauma from a year ago and we sit around and we think about it, You know, like people get lost in breakups. We get lost with different abuses that happen to us. We lose our job, we lose our house, and then we sit there. And yes, there's that mourning process that happens to anything.
Yeah.
There's and that is to each their own, that time frame and what is going on. But when we sit in that, or we come back and we play that record over and over again, every time we replay the record, we energetically connect to that frequency.
Right.
And when we energetically connect to that frequency, we might be up here in frequency and vibration, but as soon as we energetically connect to this old trauma, because we get stuck in it, we think about it, then we start to what? We have emotion that rises up. Then all of a sudden we may have physical pain that comes from it, or we get exhausted, or a headache, or something like that. Our mood shifts. That's all signs that we are out of the frequency that we should be in. We're not where God wants us to be. We are now causing this dis-ease in our body by connecting to this lower frequency, which isn't even present in the moment.
Right. It's just made up. We made it present. Yeah.
We made it present. We went back there and said, oh, I'm going to go reattach to that crap back there. And I'm going to pull it forward, open it up, sit and think about it, ponder it, feel into it, question it, point out everything that's wrong with it, and then look at my day and go, why am I in such a bad mood? Where's my goal?
Yeah.
And we do the same for the future. You know, just send it the opposite direction. We sit around and we go, oh my gosh, is there goal setting that we should have? Yes, you should plan for your retirement.
Right.
Yes, if you want to purchase a home, then you should make steps towards purchasing that. If you're building a business, if you're wanting to lose weight, work on your health, there are steps for the physical world that we have to take to get there. Yep. But once you put those steps in place and you just have that consistency about it, why are you sitting around worrying about it?
Right.
It now is on its way. You've done work. Now your work is to get into the joy, the happiness of the moment, so that everything is, the momentum is there for you to move for you.
Yeah.
And you can pick up the speed by becoming happy.
Yeah. I think it really takes their faith and trust. And I love faith. Faith is the partner of Archangel Michael. And so where Michael is, usually faith is with him. And so it really takes this, faith and trust in God, in the universe, in you, and your higher self, your higher power, whatever, words you want to do, is to have faith that when you do ask for it and, say, hey, like you say, have these plans for whatever it is, mortgage, health, whatever relationships, that you ask, and if you'll just allow it, and you'll have, I talk about doing ABE, which is allow, believe, and expect, and for us to just believe that and have that faith in that everything is going to play out okay for that. So and I like this thing on anchor yourself and how you.
But we tend to anchor again when, because you're talking about allow, believe, and expect, and that's absolutely true. The problem that we humans struggle with is that we say that we believe, but then our expectations, what we're looking for, is different than what we're claiming our belief is. So then so we say, oh no, I believe that the universe has my back. I believe that God is going to, do what's right. I know I can't control it. I trust that the path is there. I trust that the next step is there. And then we turn right around in that statement and say, where is it?
Right.
Where is it? And as soon as we do that right there, we go, oh no, I believe that's going to happen. I'm going to make that $10,000 this month, right? I'm going to make that 10 grand this month. I'm going to overcome this illness. I'm going to find the partner of my dreams. And then we go, but my bed is empty right now. And where's that partner? Like nobody's asked me out on a date. Nobody's oh no, I don't have it. So what are we doing? And that right there, we instill doubt.
Right.
And once we instill doubt digs up belief, digs it up and tosses it to the side. And it's like we've planted the seed and then we're just digging it up and going, where's the sprout? Where's the sprout? Where's the sprout? And we know that doesn't work in planting, but we're planting in our thoughts and in our emotions.
Yeah, I love that.
It's earthed so that it can actually sprout. and then feed it properly, which is through faith. I refer to certainty. I use the word certainty instead of
Cool.
faith.
Yeah.
Like, if you are certain in something, then that is, everything is lined up. There is no doubt to it. There's no space for doubt and certainty.
Yeah.
We're not going to dream. We're going to be certain that this is happening.
Right.
It's not always, typically the universe brings us the best blessings in sometimes, the maskings of something that doesn't feel so great always.
Right.
And that's where we have to find the joy, even in the darkness, even in the shadows, because those things are happening for a reason.
Right.
And we can figure it. We don't even have to figure it out. Let it come to us.
Right.
And then recognize it and be grateful for it when you recognize it.
Yeah. And I sometimes use that as, look at everything. There is a blessing in every particle of the universe, is either the wanted or the unwanted, every situation, every thought, etc. And then you talk about emotions, that when we feel bad, it means we're not thinking about this as God is. And when we feel good, we are. Now, love the way that you talk about manifesting power through your words. And can you share with us on what kind of words are those? And I love the certainty, and to have that mental attitude framework and that emotion and that knowing. And how can words help us to manifest?
Okay, now there's a great song that I actually encourage everybody. So here's my little bleep to one of my favorite bands out there, The Green, which is a reggae band out of Hawaii.
Okay.
And that is near and dear to my heart and everything. But they have a song called Power of the Words.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, they definitely put it exactly the way it's supposed to be. But it is the power of our words. And I know that the Bible speaks of this. I know that Buddhist traditions speak of it. We can go, again, down any path. And the power is in our words, because our words carry a vibration. Our words, we can say, just like before when I said, oh, I believe this, and then I turn around and I quickly go, but where is it?
Yeah.
Well, those words of where is it, or those words that we are feeding to ourselves. What was the author way back in the day? Shad Helmstetter. Does that sound familiar? We talked about the things that we say to ourselves. I remember I took a class eons ago with him and everything. And he was talking about that it's in the power of what we're saying to ourselves, those things that we're speaking to ourselves. So if I can happy with you, right? I'm doing a show, I have to show up this way, put the happy persona on, and everything's okay, Candle's life, and da-da-da-da. And as soon as I get off of here, I go and I'm house cleaning up today a little bit, right? So like, let's say I grab my vacuum and I'm cleaning, and instantly I start going, no. Or I go, oh man, girl, you could lose some pounds. And did you see how your hair fell there? And oh, I can't believe you said this. And and I get into these negative thoughts. And then I start to emotionalize it. And what do? That is me basically taking the sword and turning it on self. And everything that I have worked on before, I have just sliced it down a notch or 2 or 10 or 100, depending on how far I went down that rabbit hole.
Right.
And I'm actually getting caught in that negative spiral. And I can quickly figure out that it's a negative spiral because of the way that I feel.
Exactly.
Because we're not going to feel good when we are self-loathing, when we are in pity, when we are blaming, when we are in doubt, when we are in anger and fear. These are not things of God, of spirit, of high frequency.
Right.
And then we wonder, why is this stuff coming to us? Well, it must be so. This is my reality. I'm only saying it because this is what's showing up. Well, yeah, that's what's showing up because you are speaking it into existence.
Yeah, right. So all of us have been where all of a sudden we go down this rabbit hole. And so how do I wake up? How do I stop from going down there? Because sometimes it's just, all of a sudden you recognize, gee, I'm down there and I got to get out of there. So what do? What are some techniques that you found to be effective?
I always say, like, now it takes me 2 minutes to do what used to take me 2 months in processing. So there's, like me of 12, 15 years ago would take 2 months to process and hold on to it.
Yeah.
And I would recycle it in my psyche and in my emotions and replay it and look at every way. And I'm a very analytical person that will take 100 passes on something and try to plan it out as far in advance as I can, and then come back and then make what the best decision is.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how my inner world works.
Yeah.
And I'm like, boom, 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 boom. Okay, no. Well, if something happens in my life, I'm guilty of doing that as well, replaying it, looking at it. Where did I mess up? Whose fault was that? How did that happen? And analyzing it. We do that a lot. We typically get caught in the, whose fault is it game, the blame game of that. Just that right there. Recognition is key. Without recognition, you're going to get nowhere in a hurry. If you cannot recognize that you are in it, then you can't get out of it. As long as you are in it, you are part of the problem. Yeah. Recognition starts to pull you out of the problem and into a witness state of being. Mm-hmm. So you might be in an argument with your spouse, and even though your mouth is still moving and the tears are still flowing and maybe a plate or two is flying, even in the midst of that right there, as soon as you recognize, whoa, I'm in it right now. This is not me. This does not feel good. This actually feels like crap to me. I'm feeling horrible right now. Oh, well, that means that you're not in alignment to you. You're not in alignment to source, to God, to your higher self, whatever you want to say. You're not in alignment to love. Right? Exactly. So you're not in alignment to that high frequency. And that is because that you have that feeling, that's that nudge of like, I don't feel good. Yeah. Well, I'm not feeling good. There's recognition. If I'm not feeling good, then there's recognition that I'm out of alignment. Yeah. And then we come to, well, what's the next step? Number one, witness it, find humor in it. Like I used to take myself all too serious. Yeah. And I laugh at myself and I go, oh, there I go again. Mm. And then I have learned that there are moments where I refer to it as giving my ego breadcrumbs. There's the belief of like, kill the ego. Well, we're not going to kill the ego. It dies with us. Our ego dies with us. The ego is here. There's a purpose for it. There's a reason for it. Yeah. But if we can't kill it, it's there for a reason. But if we tighten the belt on it too much, it becomes the angered beast in the corner. Yeah. And much like an angry dog, if you don't feed it, then at some point it's going to figure out how to break free, and then it's going to run amok, and that's the scary land. That's when we're right, and then we're out of control. Yeah. And that typically happens. Oh, we have too many drinks. Oh, this happened, and then we go, oh, but it was too much tequila. Yeah, well, the ego would have gotten you like that.
You're too funny, Kendall.
If it wasn't the case, right? You were trying to tie it back too much. You were presenting a false image. Yeah. So I have a little statement of, I say, oh, I'm going to feed my ego some breadcrumbs. This is a breadcrumb moment. And that tops at something so that it doesn't come after my butt later.
Right? That is so funny. And you're just I love this, the way you're so direct on that. And it's just so fun. One of the things that I help people with on that kind of area is, that our thoughts, our ego, if you will, is really to identify, we experience life and then identify what we want and why we want it. So if we can just focus on what and why, and not get into, the gee, why'd I do this, or, do all that chatter, I call it the committee, this little committee. And if there's any devil, that's it. I want us, you're just so fascinating and so fun. Can you give us, how can we get a hold of you, or where would you like us to go to connect with you?
Well, here on Facebook for sure.
Okay.
And that's just, Kendall Renee Williams. And then I've got YouTube channel, and then kendallwilliams.com. That's my website. And everything stems from kendallwilliams.com. So.
Okay, got it. And you can see how to spell Kendall there. And,
one L.
right, exactly. Yeah. And so you're just so fun. I think I'd like to, we have a few minutes left here, and I'd like to talk about tapping into your turn on, and again, getting turned on into your life for maximum manifestation power. So this is about how to manifest, folks, and Kendall, has some answers for us on there. So how do we tap into our turn on?
Tap into turn on. Get more playful.
Yeah.
Play is key for sure on that one. Again, we just take we take everything that shouldn't be serious too serious, and everything that we should take serious, we don't take very serious.
All right.
We're definitely flipped on it.
Yeah.
So we give little credit to our emotions and to our thoughts, and we give a lot of credit to, the worry and the concern and fitting in the societal boxes. And a turned on person is not worried about societal boxes, is not worried about their neighbors or even their kids or their sister, their brother, their mother, their dad, or, any of that, what that concern is. They understand that they are responsible for only self.
Yeah.
And that means I am responsible for my thoughts. I am responsible for my emotions, my feelings, and my physical actions from those two things.
Yeah.
Because thoughts create the emotions, and the emotions create our physical actions.
Yeah.
And it is just that process. So turned on just means basically, Abraham Lincoln had the statement of a person will be just about as happy as they choose to be. Well, a person will be just about as turned on as they choose to be. My updated version of that. And turn on does not mean anything to do with the bedroom.
Oh, darn it.
I know. There I am again.
We lost another 1,000 people on that comment.
Sorry, but it gets better than the bedroom, because you know what? You're not going to get turned on in the bedroom if you're not turned on to life.
Right? Exactly.
So that it's a little flash in the pan. It's like fast food in the bedroom if you're not turned on to your life.
Yeah.
People will all the time go, oh, well, how do I have more sex? How do I get her to desire me? How do I get this? How do I get that? Well, you do that by finding your purpose, by finding your joy, by being solid at your core. Those are hot things, And guess what? Turn on comes to what is hot. And a confident individual is going to be a turned on individual.
Yeah.
It's somebody that, can express themselves, can communicate, that is not going to, shy away from who they are, can actually speak their truth with the people in their life. And that relays to the bedroom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that fake it there, but they're also faking it everywhere else.
Oh my God, that's great. I just love it. My goodness. Any other thoughts? I mean, it's just great information, and it kind of takes you off to, just the whole thing on, being authentic and being this love, who we really are is just this pure love, and to get back to who we are. So, what would you say, like the one best tip you could give, counsel you could share with us that would really be helpful for us to, when we get off of this podcast, to say, hey, I'm going to do this today, and I'm going to be happier, and I'm going to, really get into my turn on, if you will.
One thing.
Or a few.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple.
Sure.
I would say one key factor would be get out of your house. And that is a play on words there. There is the get out of your house, get out of the office building, go outside, don't look at the ground, take a walk, look at the sky, lift your head up. It is a proven fact that if we walk with our head up, that we will have a grander perspective on life, and we will feel more positive.
Yeah.
When we walk and we look down at the ground, it also shuts us down. We armor up and we put a separation between us and the world around us. And I think that right now in this time of our world, we're scared of every single person that is less than 6 feet away.
Right.
You're going to kill me. You're 6 feet from me. And bunch of bunk.
Right.
It's not,
99.6% of us are just fine,
right. So it's like, okay, let's be real. Unless they're holding a gun and pointing it at you or charging you, let's just take a breather and see how pretty the sunset is and see how pretty the sunrise is. I take my boys to school in the mornings and the sun is rising. And as we come up the freeway and we round this corner onto the toll road, I make my 6-year-old and my 8-year-old every single morning. I tell them, I go, look at that beautiful sunrise. To the point that now I have a great big boat in my backyard or a play set that when they can catch a sunset, they come running in, and no matter what I'm doing, they're, Mom, come look at the sunset.
Yeah.
And that right there, it's something so little, so simple, and so big, because we choose the TV, we choose our phones, we choose the worry over catching the sunrises and sunsets. None of us know how many sunrises and sunsets we have in this lifetime. So if we can just go out there, and that's the next thing, find gratitude in the little things. Is truly find gratitude. If we can lift our heads up, if we can get into that present moment of the sunrise, the sunset, the blue sky, the birds chirping. I just recently read that people that hear birds chirping on a consistent basis, like if we can open our windows, have our workplaces, take walks, birds chirping, that bird chirps are related to happiness. Funny enough. It's like, oh, that's why I got all these birds in my backyard, I guess.
Yeah. Well, actually, when people are more connected with their angels, they'll actually see more birds and hear more birds. So you're connected to your angels and, all that is in this high flying vibration.
Right. I love my hummingbirds that come through, and it's like they come through and I'm like, oh, look at the hummingbird, but I'm slow enough in my pace to actually see the hummingbird.
Right.
I pay attention to the coyotes. I pay attention to those. And that's another piece of the puzzle. Is like, pay attention to your surroundings. Realize that spirit is speaking to you. It's not choosing the moments to speak to you. There is a constant stream of communication coming from God. We're the ones that hang up the line to it. God's always speaking to us. We choose not to hear God. And it comes in ways that our human logical mind doesn't understand, because we keep ourselves in these little boxes and have programmed spirit out. And it's those little things that matter. Yes, spirit is speaking to us. So that would be my big key factors, like down to presence and paying attention to that. Get out of the actual house and go outside. Tune into nature. Slow down, breathe. 3 good deep belly breaths, Buddha breaths into your stomach. Reduce your heart rate, reduce your stress level, gain clarity of focus and mind, boost your immune system, bring you present in the moment. If you're feeling angry, anxiety, 3 good deep breaths. How long does it take? Everything that I've given, we're talking under 2 minutes.
Right, exactly.
You have 2 minutes to change your life.
And most people think, hey, and they use the word, I'm too busy, and it's those power of the words. And so, instead of busy, if you're, especially in a work environment, change that word to like productive. I'm very productive. And because if you start calling forth busy, you'll get more busy. And this idea about breath, it's just the way to do it. It's the fastest way to connect with your source, with God Almighty, is to have these deep breaths. I have invested thousands of dollars on breathing coaches, and people say, Dr. Hank, you might be smart in some stuff, but you're darn right stupid about this.
Right, you're still living. You don't need to know how to breathe. You obviously know how to do that. You were born knowing how to do that.
Right. Once I got slapped on the butt, I was off and raring to go. Right, and with your 7 kids, you know how that goes. But it is a method with that breathing. And the other thing is about this looking up, and it really it gives you a broader perspective perspective, and that's where God is in this broader perspective. And most people don't look up, and so they don't see things. They don't notice the ceiling or things that are above, like on the wall. And that all you need to do is these simple little things, Kendall, and you helped us to understand that will brighten our lives. And so I just absolutely love it. We're just about out of time here, but again, let everybody know how to get a hold of you.
That's at www.kendallwilliams.com. 1L.
All right, love it. And then any other thing you'd like to share with us? Any other juicy tidbits? Speaking of our sex coach.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it comes back to the humor. I think that 2020 was a non-humorous year for a lot of people.
Yeah.
At least they made themselves believe that it was a non-humorous year.
Right.
And believed that they couldn't have adventures, and they believed that they had to stay at home, and that they had to be fearful of everybody.
Yeah.
And from somebody with 7 kids and 4 grandbabies who didn't stop her traveling and had beautiful life experiences all through 2020, 2020 was a magical, incredible, transformative year for me. So I don't know what the rest of the world was doing, but here's 2 people right here, right? That we both had a good year. We had a great year.
Right.
So did we have to make some subtle changes to things? Yeah, I didn't get to go out of the country as much as I wanted to. Okay.
Right.
But you know what? I was gone and doing things and exploring and experiencing and expanding myself and my connections, falling deep in love at the end of the year, having, magical moments with my kids, everything and business and everything was great. My health improved. 2020 was one of my best, healthiest years.
That's just awesome.
And I'm not the crazy mask wear, avoid everybody on the planet person that's freaking out. I'm on the other side of that. People are probably running from me. But so what is it? But it is allowing yourself to, no matter what your precautions are, to realize that you can still laugh, to realize that you can still go outside. You can still go do. And the more doing and the less, turn off the media, turn off those outside sources that are feeding you a bunch of pain and suffering and fear and worry. Disconnect from them, not from God, not from your truth.
There you go. Wow. Man, I just love it, Kendall. And you certainly nailed it there. And I really, really appreciate you coming on our show today. I hope everybody made lots of notes. I got a couple of pages of notes here on just some great wisdom from Kendall Williams. And you can get a hold of her at kendallwilliams.com with 1L. And so let's all just, have fun out there. And I thank all of you for being here, viewing us, seeing that, hey, you have the power right now in this very red hot moment in order to make the life that you want and your dreams to come true. Kendall, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Hank. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Love you all. Love you, Kendall, and love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.